Do you ever wake up in the morning feeling fresh to death? Just kidding. Does your inner voice actually sound like this in the morning? You said you were going to do the dishes, write the song, record a cover of my favorite song, get up and do the project for work, hand in finish that other project for the other client, make your bed, take a shower, go to bed, get up and do the project. I want you to imagine that your mind is a river. Overwhelm is like a dam. So it basically stops the flow, holding on and hoarding all of these ideas. And so the first step in breaking down overwhelm is actually to take out a piece of paper or a digital notepad, and you're actually going to write down every little task or project that you want to do, that's in your mind, that you've been thinking about doing, that you've committed to doing. What are you talking about, Michael? That's too much stuff. I can't write things down on a single piece of paper. Are you kidding me? Well, this is where the mind, again, is trying to trick us, because in reality, we're already overthinking. We're already overwhelmed by this amount of tasks that we can hold in our brain, right? Because the flow, our natural flow, is being blocked by all of these thoughts. So we obviously think, okay, yeah, right, Michael, it's going to be not that easy to write everything down. What I invite you to do is to set a timer for 15 minutes, even I would recommend 30 minutes, and just writing down every little task, every project, everything that you would want to accomplish. And then when you feel like you've run out, because trust me, you will come to a point where you're like, oh, I've written everything down. Okay, this was unexpected. Sit for another 5 to 15 minutes and continue just thinking of things, thinking of those big ideas that you've wanted to do that you haven't had the time or the courage to write down or to identify, so that we can just remove all of the wood from that dam of your mind and allow your natural essence to come through. All right, go ahead, go and write it down. You can pause the video and come back. No, I'm just kidding. Stick around for a couple minutes. The next piece of the process is something that I don't think a lot of people have heard about. It's something called being interested versus being committed. Now, before I explain, I want to tell you a little story about my friend. And my friend is an author, and he's been working on this book for the last couple of years. And every time that he's come up against publishing the book, there's been overwhelm. There's been like, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that. So I said, hey, you know what? Let's do a session. Let's write out everything that you want to accomplish. And so I walked him through this process. And then we wrote out everything that he wanted to do. He wanted to publish a book, he wanted to pay off some debt, and a number of other things. We probably had a list of 30 or 40 items, tasks, projects that he wanted to complete. We narrowed it down by what are you interested in doing versus what you're committed to doing. And when I say interested, the reality is that people don't finish things that they're interested in doing. For myself, I'm interested in surfing, which is why I've only been surfing a few times, right? Whereas if I was committed to surfing, committed to being a surfer, I would be a surfer, right? I'm committed to YouTube. I've published over 500 videos on this channel. They're not all good, but I'm committed to that process, right? And so what we want to do is we want to separate out, first off, what are we interested in? What are things that's like, yeah, I'd like to do that, but it doesn't actually pull me or move me to do those things. And then what are the things that we're committed to doing? What are the things that we really, truly, if we could spend our lives doing these projects, these tasks, that would be it. Then I want you to separate them out one more time, separate them into committed for now versus committed for later. For my friend, what he was committed to doing was paying off debt, moving into a place that he loved, having stability and direction in his life, and publishing the book. Just after a month of identifying that those are the things that he was committed to doing right now, after 1 month, he literally accomplished all of them. And so can you. We go from chaos to clarity, and then that clarity leads to action. Once you get all these tasks out of your head, onto paper, identified which ones you're committed to doing right now, in the present, and then you've put some of those tasks on the calendar so that in the next 2 to 4 weeks, you can actually get them done, then what I want you to do is freaking celebrate. Pat yourself on the back, slam the subscribe button if you choose to, if you got some value out of this, and just spam the comments saying that overwhelm is my bitch.